up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid
I'm
hot.
fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener! Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm. Because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What up, dog people? It's Wake Up Woodward, and we appreciate you all, chat family, for choosing to kick off today with the WUW Crew. It's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credentialed Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, all sports knower, Red Wings correspondent, and you know what? What an absolute gut punch. Darius Garland from the logo after Cade Cunningham, 9 straight points, 6 straight free throws, man. And goodness gracious, he was talking, he was feeling himself. But last night, I felt that was a contrast of what it looks like to have a team with several All-Stars around their alpha versus Cade Cunningham, who is the only All-Star and the alpha on his team.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Donovan Mitchell didn't play, but you know who did play for Cleveland last night? Evan Mobley. Mm-hmm. The dude
All-Star.
I'll tell you what, out of that draft, and I've said it before, Cade's the best player from that draft, in my opinion, but in terms of impact to their team, Evan Mobley is just... if you're a Cleveland fan and you want to argue that Evan Mobley is as impactful to the Cavaliers as Cade is to the Pistons, I'm not necessarily going to argue with that. Evan Mobley, and I'm not saying that he is this guy, I would say that he's borderline Duncan-esque in terms of the way that he affects the game on both ends, being a walking double-double, being one of the best defensive bigs in the game, and I'm sure many 2010 seasons are in his future. Not saying he's Duncan, it's just Duncan-esque.
Hey, and I'm not going to push back on that notion either, but I will say this. Before I call it, I want to see what Cade looks like when he has a couple All-Star teammates and some nice pieces around him like Jared Allen and some of the others that we saw. So I do want to see what Cade looks like in that. He already looks like, to me, between the two, the better the player, like you called, but I do want to see what he looks like when he has an impact. Be able to make an impact that way. But
and don't Evan Mobley, the reason why I say what I'm saying is he's obviously not somebody who can be a number one on a team. That's not how he's built. And that's just a testament to Cade. If you put Evan Mobley on the Pistons roster, what would they look like? But as many big mans tend to be, they're not guys who can necessarily create for themselves. They need people to feed them, and that's why on a great roster, which the Cleveland Cavaliers have, even last night without Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley can be one of the more impactful players in the entire NBA in any given night, and he was special last night.
Man, he's a unicorn. He's one of those guys that can do everything. There was one play where we kind of looked away, looked back, and someone that looked like they took a three-pointer and it was called a foul. And we were like, yo, we thought it was a guard or like one of the wings. When we saw the replay, we was like, oh, that was Evan Mobley. And that's when you just really begin to hone in on just how truly special he is. When you talk about the Duncan-esque aspect, I completely see that in his post-game, the cerebral aspect that he takes to the game, the pace. But then where it gets a little bit, he has an opportunity to be really scary is what you see him do with the mobility, the ball in his hands, ability to really dribble in front of another big who can't stay in front of him, his pick and roll ability and pick and pop. So, but I know we're going to talk a lot more Pistons because it's NBA trade deadline day. Tell the people we're going to discuss, and then we got to break down Michigan getting a big win over Oregon.
They did, a lot of Pistons, a lot of trade deadline. I mean, if we're just calling a spade, yesterday, just in a vacuum, yesterday was not a great day to be a Pistons fan. But there may be more to come. There were more fireworks in the NBA trade deadline, including one by the Lakers. That was last night. Not as big as the Warriors one that they just made, but still, I think, pretty impactful. Just trades everywhere, trades galore. There's one player that me and Kool-Aid and many of us in the room have had fever dreams about that is no longer available. That's why I say yesterday was not the best day to be a Pistons fan, but we're also going to talk about the Lions a little bit, TLB, because our very own KG had a question that he's going to pose that we're going to respond to in a segment. And we've got the triple threat, which is one of our favorites. I know you guys enjoy it as well. But first, Michigan basketball. I was in the house last night. I was at Chrysler, which is it's a great place to watch a game. There's not a bad seat in the house, especially when Michigan is good. And I had a bit of an epiphany about Michigan basketball last night. And I'm curious if the Chuck Brewers in the chat or our fellow Michigan fans agree with me on this one. Remember, JB, and you remember this very well because you were very happy that this was a segment. Remember a little while ago, not even that long, when we did a Michigan State segment. And Michigan State at the time was undefeated in the Big Ten. They looked like the clear best team. And Michigan, although they were playing well and they had a good record in the Big Ten, in their recent games, they hadn't looked super impressive. I mean, they barely escaped bad Northwestern and Penn State teams at home. They lost to a terrible Minnesota team on the road, and they got absolutely nut-fucked by Purdue. But here's what I realized last night. Michigan is not a perfect team. They tend to play a little bit sloppy. They turn the ball over a little bit too much. However, they are 9-2 in Big Ten play. They are tied in the loss column with Michigan State and Purdue for first in the entire Big Ten. I have nothing to complain about. We should all be kissing Dusty May's feet right now. I would personally kiss Dusty May's feet. If you're available, I will kiss your feet, seriously. Because what Dusty May has done this year is completely turn around this basketball program.
And now you're willing to turn around for him.
Absolutely. I said kiss feet. And I would. But the reason that I say that is, do we remember how bad it was last year? Do we remember that? Do we remember Juwan Howard and that 8-24 absolute debacle?
You got to understand.
Love it.
Because as Michigan fans, Fab Five fans, as Hoopers, trust me, man, my dad, that was a staple in the home. Yeah. And I was so ecstatic for his hire to see the way that it went. You knew even before last season, we were talking about it. At first, I was like, man, I think Flannel's overboard. And by last season, I was like, Flannel, I'm dancing in the sun with you, bro. Something has to be done here. Like, I love Juwan Howard for what he's meant to Michigan, but last year was so bad that what I'm seeing right now to Dusty May, what we knew from the beginning was that he was a program builder. And I do believe that some of the things that you're calling out will improve as he has an opportunity to further entrench his program, get more of his recruits and guys in there rather than the mix and match through the transfer portals and such. But in terms of being a program builder, Dusty May is that guy right now.
It took one year. And what I learned last night when watching the Michigan-Oregon game was that Big Ten wins are hard to come by no matter what, even if they're at home versus bad opponents. But last night, Oregon is pretty good, and Michigan, there were times in the second half where they got way too turnover prone. I'm looking at you in particular, Roddy Gale, with your 3 traveling violations in the second half. Damn near almost cost us the game. But shout out Roddy Gale. He did seal the game at the free throw line, even though he was morbidly awful for the most part last night. But the point is, morbidly awful. Roddy Gale was unplayable until he hit those free throws at the end to seal the game. However, yes, Michigan did enough things well last night. At times looked the best that I'd seen them look all season, and they did enough to win. And what it really highlights is just how it's not just the system that Dusty May is implementing, and it works itself out a lot in the half-court offense. It's the fact that man, when you look at what this roster is now, absolutely ate in the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. You're talking about Vlad Golden, somebody who started off slow but was a star big man for Florida Atlantic last year, follows Dusty May, and now leads the team in scoring at 16 per game. We're looking at a guy like Trey Donaldson, who last year was sparingly used at Auburn, comes to Michigan, is their primary ball handler, their leading assist man, giving you 13 a game on 47% from the floor and 42% from three, making all kinds of big plays. He can create for himself, he can create for others, he can drive, he can shoot, he can pass, all that good stuff. And then, of course, you got to go to the unicorn, Mr. Danny Wolf, the 7-foot point center, who is averaging a double-double. He's a walking double-double. He finishes well at the rim. He can shoot a three. He's probably the best passer
Pistons
on the team.
got a lot of second-round picks right now.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Danny Wolf is a pro. I think he could even get into the first round if he continues to play well. His only defect is being a 7-footer who's one of the primary ball handlers. You're susceptible to getting stripped.
That's why he should fall to the second round wherever the Pistons are drafted.
Yes. I was gonna, but yeah, he's a little susceptible to getting stripped and turning the ball over, but he's just a fantastic player. Their best rebounder, their best overall player, has been absolutely fantastic this year. He's that type of unicorn archetype that when he's on, he is unstoppable. Just if you have that body and that skill set in Big Ten play in college basketball, you're gonna get a lot done just by virtue of that, but he's also highly skilled as well. And before I pass it over, I also have to shout out a couple of other players, because these are guys who were here during the Juwan Howard debacle, but have stayed, and they're reaping the benefits of that right now. I got to start with Mr. Nimari Burnett. I'm not going to lie. When I found out that Nimari Burnett was coming back, I'm like, who cares? He's not good. What's he really going to do? What's he going to do is shut this guy up, because Nimari Burnett has been fantastic this year. He upped his shooting percentage from 40% to 51% from last year to this year. His three-point percentage from 35% to 43%, and he's scoring at about the same clip, but just being more efficient and getting a little bit less usage. Nimari Burnett has been fantastic. And I also have to look at Mr. Will Shedder as well. And Will Shedder is a fan favorite of Michigan fans, and he's becoming a fan favorite of mine. He's becoming one of those role players that I actually like, even though people think that they don't exist. Will Shedder, to me, was just in his bag last night for being that perfect six-man type. He absolutely was the player of the game. He only played 16 minutes, but he gave you 17 points, 6 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 5 from 3, had 3 rebounds. 2 of them were offensive rebound putbacks, by the way, and he's just that hard hat, lunch pail, do everything on the defensive end. He's 6'8", about 220. He's basically an NBA 3-and-D wing, but the college version. And I'm not necessarily even saying that he's a pro, because we don't know about his athleticism, we don't necessarily know about his skill set. But I'll tell you what Will Shedder brings to a team. There's a lot of NBA teams that I think should at least give him a look, even if he's a UFA, just because of the skill set that he has. Nobody plays harder. He's basically what you would call, I know that it's a different sport, he's a Dan Campbell guy playing Michigan basketball. Just gritty, makes up for whatever lack of skill he has just by playing hard, and he is a 40% three-point shooter as well, and a 55% from the floor guy. So I'm ecstatic about Michigan basketball. If you can't tell, I'm super giddy right now. And I just learned last night to appreciate what we have right now, what Dusty May has done, what these players have done, and how it compares to what it looked like last year. Michigan basketball was dead and buried. I was hate watching the team. I would actually laugh when they would blow games last year. And I'd come into our show and just light Juwan Howard on fire damn near every day. But now I have a basketball team that I can be proud of, and Michigan actually has a chance. They're right in the mix to be Big Ten regular season champions. Gross. And then whatever happens beyond, we'll see.
Look, Michigan State, you guys faltered a little bit there, man.
Yeah, had a couple of losses on the West Coast, and that's to be expected, but Michigan looked pretty good when they went to the West Coast. I'm just saying a little earlier. I'm not saying Michigan's necessarily better, but what I'm saying, the point why I brought up Michigan State earlier is that you just never know. It looked like Michigan State was clearly the class of the Big Ten, but they even had some struggles on the West Coast. And now when I just look at the standings, when I look at roster for roster, I still think Michigan State's probably the better team, but Michigan's got a pretty deep bag of talent as well. And I would argue that Danny Wolf is the best overall player between the two teams. You could argue Jace Richardson has the most talent, but Danny Wolf is a 7-foot point center unicorn who averages a double-double and shoots 37% from 3. He is unguardable and unstoppable when he drives to the rim, because what's a rim protector going to do on a 7-foot guy? If it's Trey Donaldson driving to the rim, a rim protector actually serves some purpose because he's about 6'2", but it's a 7-freaking-footer.
And you know what? The narrative always holds true, though, when it's Michigan versus Michigan State. It's generally like a belief or an expectation that Michigan State is going to beat Michigan. They generally look like supposedly the more talented team, generally the higher ranked team. But those years where Michigan was going in and beating those Trey Burke years and such, Tim Hardaway Jr. years, they weren't necessarily the favorite team starting off when they were beating them. And so as I'm seeing this Michigan team in year one underneath Dusty May kind of ride the ups and downs of this kind of first year, all of those kind of learning curves and such, and learning to play with each other, I do give them a good shot, especially coming down the stretch of the season, to be able to win a Big Ten title.
I was going to say, they have a
regular season.
Regular season's the first goal, and then of course, nothing really
tournament
matters too much until the NCAA tournament. But just the fact that right now they're positioned to where they're pretty much a mortal lock to make the tournament. And what did you see the previous couple of years? You saw the 8-24 just disaster class, and then you saw the year before they wasted a roster with Kobe Buffkin, Jet Howard, and Hunter Dickinson. So right now, I know there have been moments throughout the season where I've nitpicked a little bit too much. I know they look terrible at Purdue. I know they look terrible at Minnesota, but they're 9-2 in conference. They're tied in the loss column with Michigan State and Purdue. Michigan basketball just deserves to be celebrated right now for how far that they've come. And I know that in the transfer portal era, it's easier to improve quickly, but what it isn't easy to do is hit on 3 big-time transfers. I mean, I mentioned before, Trey Donaldson was basically a 7th man at Auburn. He comes here and is fantastic.
Yeah.
Danny Wolf, Vlad Golden, you could be like, yeah, they were impressive, but Yale and Florida Atlantic. You never know. Come to the Big Ten, we'll see if it translates. Oh, it's translated.
And I think that really Dusty May is starting to fit in with the other list of new coaches to this area, making an immediate impact, man. Both development, young players, schemes, players that were here prior looking like they know what they're doing a lot more now, just like we see with the Pistons, just like we see happening with the Red Wings. Like, it was crazy seeing that stat about the Red Wings being dead last. They flipped this thing from dead last before Todd McClellan to now first wild card spot. Like, what we're seeing right now amongst all these sports teams is crazy, because we keep talking about all 4 teams potentially making the playoffs, which, and if we could bet on that, like, going ahead and do that. But what about Michigan and Michigan State making the tournament? This is like looking like all locks all across the board. Detroit and really great state of Michigan sports is more than just back, man. This is an absolute renaissance, and it's exciting to be a part of.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And
I think the word you used was giddy. Like, I'm there.
Oh,
bro.
I'm so giddy. Rock. You could call me Josh. Although,
and we got we got Tiger season right around the corner.
Although that's probably not the best reference to use. However,
let's not do that.
and by the way, Josh Giddey blows at basketball too.
Oh.
He was found to be no wrongdoing, that it was the woman's fault or the girl's fault, allegedly. But anywho, Planet Fitness. I think it's time to move on. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. They've got 50+ Metro Detroit locations, and they have the cheapest memberships. You could, if you want to work out and get on a schedule, fulfill your New Year's resolutions, they have the cheapest memberships at only $15 a month, where you have your home Planet Fitness, where they have all of the workout equipment and amenities that you could need. Or you could upgrade to the Black Card, where my personal favorite amenity is the opportunity to work out at any Planet Fitness across the world. And oh, by the way, if you have a friend who's not a member yet, you can actually use them as a guest if you have the Black Card, something I should probably be plugging a little bit more, just did today. Join today, online or in club, or visit planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Big injury Injuries? Big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Time it is. It's Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Scan that QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000. But all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet. And you know what? If it doesn't hit, they will throw it right back into your account with no questions asked. I'm dead serious about this. Caesars Sportsbook is the best sportsbook around right here. Our favorite here at Woodward Sports. Scan the QR code, use code word Woodward1000, and make some money today.
Here's the first. 115, 113.
Wow. Really? Wow.
I see you, boy. One more for the money. Champ family, oh, you heard it here first. Kay Cunningham, 9 points in a row. He did his thing. But the Cavs with the victory, man. What a victory, man. What a victory, man. Shoot. Family, Darius Garland, he's the man of the hour. He hits the three. Donovan Mitchell, everybody in the building. Kay did his thing to bring the Pistons back. You talk about 6 free throws in a row, 9 points in a row, gave them a chance, but with 5 seconds left, the Cavs had life, hit the three at the buzzer. About to head to the press conference and talk about it, man. Gosh, what a game. Another heartbreaker for these Detroit Pistons. Do you know how difficult it is as when we're in media to not cheer, to not really show the emotion? And I was like, all right, you know, even some of the Pistons PR people were down there, and it was just, okay, keep in check. I know JB Smooth was in the building last night as well. The environment was crazy. The tension, like, you know what? Loss aside, pack that arena out. Yeah. Because that was meaningful basketball. People wanted that. I haven't felt that. There were goosebumps. Cade, those 9 straight points, 6 straight free throws. Dog, everything was epic. And just a second, I know they lost 118-115, but Cade Cunningham, 38 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds on the night for him. And with the NBA trade deadline right upon us, brother, what everybody is saying from social media to the chat is that you got to get this guy some help. It's not a slight on Ivy, who's out right now. But you saw last night, you got to get him some help, especially in contrast with some of these trades going on. You know where people's minds instantly went? A bunch of former Pistons, right? Got traded for Brandon Ingram, and now Scotty Barnes has help. They were drafted in the same year. The notion of waiting, to me, I don't know if you do that, especially when you paid Cade. If you have a chance to go out there and get somebody, man, I would have liked to see that. But so much going on, so much emotion.
Yeah.
Just your thoughts on this game first, man. That was a tough one.
Oh, well, my thoughts on this game was that it happened again. It was another game where Cade, for large stretches, didn't have his best shooting game. But when it came to money time, like what happened against the Hawks, he ties the game, and then it's rendered moot because Trae Young's heroics. And then
12
last night,
points the last 5 minutes and 30 seconds for Cade.
And then last night, Cade Cunningham did even more at the end of the game, basically willing the team back damn near by himself to tie the game. There were points where I thought it was over when it was, I think it was 112 to 106, where I damn near turned the game off because I was getting home from the Michigan game, and I caught the end, and it was just unbelievable. All of the clutch free throws that Cade Cunningham made, I don't know why they kept fouling him behind the three-point line, but he made every single one of them. He willed this team back by himself, and his heroics were deemed moot by Darius Garland. It's a cruel game. Those games last night should have been one of Cade Cunningham's all-star season moments, because what he did towards the end of the game in the clutch, 21 points in the fourth quarter, 9 straight points to end the game against the number 1 seed in the East, Cleveland, without Donovan Mitchell, by the way, but still. But unfortunately, when you leave time on the clock, sometimes stuff like that just happens. It's just, I am gutted by last night. I'm more gutted than I should be. And I'm not saying that it's over. I'm not saying that, they're not going to beat Philly and Charlotte, but that would have been a really nice one to have.
It would have been really nice, because let's make sure the record is set straight here, especially when it's about the NBA trade deadline perspective. You look at what it looks like. They didn't have Donovan Mitchell. In the past, you probably say, hey, if their star player's not playing, we have a shot. What we saw last night was Cade Cunningham, 1 new All-Star versus 2 All-Stars, Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, and a nice cast of NBA rotation-level players starting and coming off the bench. And when you look at the stats, it was effectively Cade Cunningham and Tim Hardaway Jr. Really carrying the scoring load for the Pistons. I think with 58 points between them on the night. It's just too much. The whole notion of bringing Cade Cunningham's usage down, you don't do that with just rotation players. That makes his usage stay up. He can't bring the usage down, because he's still going to have to be the one to make all the plays happen for those types of players. If you get somebody who could be ball dominant, whether you think they're efficient or not, those types of players are still going to do things like get foul calls. They're still going to absorb a certain amount of gravity. They're still going to make it more difficult for a defense to think, oh, do we stay with Beasley? Do we stay with Cade? Or do we stay over here? And then when Cade goes to the bench, you have a player that can do a lot of the things that we saw Jaden Ivey starting to grow into. I do believe that it's important for the Pistons, even though they're exceeding expectation right now, to still keep that pedal down to the floor and try and get all that you can get. That's just what I get out of JB Bickerstaff, is that he wants his team to have all that they can.
Well, that's what, and I know that this just burned you inside, because you don't like Scotty Barnes. Kool-Aid does not like Scotty Barnes.
And he got the player we've been talking about for like the last year and a half. Remember, on this show, we were like, look, I've been hearing the Pelicans as a team to watch, and Brandon Ingram as a name, and then the rumors started coming up, and the reports were there, and then Scotty Barnes, and this is just in a vacuum. Let me vent a little bit, because we all know that the trade deadline isn't over. We don't know what this deal is going to end up becoming, because we all know Brandon Ingram has had a very prodigious recent injury history. However, why does Scotty Barnes get Brandon Ingram? Why does Scotty Barnes get Brandon Ingram and Cade Cunningham does not yet? Why does Scotty Barnes get Brandon Ingram and Cade Cunningham gets a Jaden Ivey having a fluke broken leg? It's just, it's an unfair game, and I'm not trying to whine too much, but Scotty Barnes, I don't dislike him nearly as much as Kool-Aid does, and he's a very good player. But quiet as kept, Scotty Barnes is, in my opinion, a big reason why the Raptors are just a bad team record-wise. Because as much as Scotty Barnes is a very good all-around player, he shoots his team out of games all the freaking time. 5 3-point attempts per game, 26%. Preach it.
And he Gets Brandon Ingram.
Bust the narratives, because I was just over here just looking at flannel over there, just waxing poetically, because Cade lost Rookie of the Year to that man, because I was told that Scotty Barnes made a bigger impact on his team, winning games, than Cade Cunningham. How silly. How silly. This is the reason why I was screaming for it back then. Oh, awards don't matter. They do matter. And these players step to the podium, I hear them, and they state, yes, it matters. Obviously, they're not going to let it define their career. But what they're allowing it to do now is push them to new heights, because Cade does look like a man on a mission. I don't believe people understand. The Pistons were right there with the opportunity to push this thing to overtime because of Cade Cunningham. Just Cade Cunningham. Do you know how thin a margin it was for him to even become an all-star this season?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, we're talking about now one certified all-star out there, but he willed this team, and that's where you're right. We got to be fair. We got to be fair, because the trade deadline's not over. And they are exceeding expectations, so we do got to put that in perspective. Yeah. There's a lot that Trajan Langdon has done, because I'm not trying to indict Trajan Langdon at this trade deadline. There's a lot that Trajan Langdon has done right, okay? They're not in this position without what he's already done. You know, you pick up a Ron Holland, who I know Troy Weaver had #1 on his board, but Trajan Langdon also was very, very high on him as well. You get Tobias Harris, you get Malik Beasley, you get Tim Hardaway Jr., you get a team that's in postseason play most of the season. Most of the season, man, and have gone on some little heaters. They're responding well. He was able to bring in and put together a nice front office as well. So I'm not going to act like all that just didn't happen just because at this trade deadline right now, it's not necessarily looking the way that I would it to look. But I want to be able to, JB, if you don't, I was about to say JB Bickerstaff. JB Smooth, let's read these super chats. I know we got another segment of this, man, because we got to break down this NBA trade deadline. You know, we got to talk about what the Pistons did yesterday, because some people are a little miffed. There's some things, I see what they're lining up here, but do you realize that they traded for 3 6'6" players yesterday?
Yeah, they did. And just one statement, and I believe this to my core, before JB, you read the super chats. If Cade Cunningham were on the Raptors, they would be in play-in position right now. I believe that.
And he would have Brandon Ingram right now.
I believe that to my core. That is why he's better than Scotty Barnes. If you give Cade Cunningham, Grady Dick, RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl, they're going to be in play-in position. I'm not necessarily saying that they would be one game under 500, but they would at the very least be in the 10 seed right now. And the Raptors are toiling at 16-35. And even if Brandon Ingram were fully healthy, I still don't think that he's going to do much for them this year in terms of even making the play-in. Because Scotty Barnes, as I said before, despite all that he does well, and he is a very good player, is shooting his team out of games night in and night out.
You know what? What friends we got to say what up, though, to JB Smooth, because I want to be able to jump right back into this. Obviously, NBA trade deadline is today at 3 o'clock. I am hitting people up. I'm keeping my ear to the ground. We might go live at 4 o'clock, so that'll be an hour after the trade deadline. You do that because sometimes trades settle. And I need you guys to make sure you're tapped into E&E from 2 to 4 on Woodward Sports Network as well. So let's get those super chats. Let's say what up, to some friends.
Yeah. Let me read off these super chats. Shout out to Burn once again. He was in the house last night. He says, with 10-hour super chat, he said, I was there maybe if half the Pistons fans didn't leave with 10 minutes left. They have influenced some Cavs shots because my ears hurt in those final seconds. The arena was dangerous potential. I have to agree with him at that.
Epic.
It was really epic as well, too. I don't know why the super chats aren't popping up on the screen, but I'll still read them off anyway. $5 again from Burn. After half the fans left the arena was one of the loudest I've been in. Imagine if that was the playoffs as well, too. And Kool-Aid, before I read merch, I think I want to show you this fan reaction that we got from Darius Garland's last shot, and I think you know them.
Don't make that listen.
Hey, Kid Kool-Aid and Junior Kool-Aid. Yeah, they got some content. I told you guys they got some stuff on the way. They're going to get those chairs, those bar chairs, stools out the way next time. But, you know, they set up their own little green screen area. They really care about this stuff. If you saw Kid Kool-Aid, he even has on a custom jersey that, he helped make himself. In Junior Kool-Aid got on the Grant Hill jersey. When I tell you about the Grant Hill jersey and the shoes that my grandma bought me, the shoes are long gone, but the jersey lives on. So all my kids have worn that jersey. So, it's faded, but it will stay in the family as long as possible. Shout out to you, JB Smooth. You cooking, man.
No worries. Let me tell you about some merch that we got going on. Head over to woodwardsports.com. Click on that shop tab. New designs dropping for you every single week. I sent over a couple to stick as well, too. So if you're a Red Wings fan, look out for these new designs. I'm telling you right now, fire. I'm putting some work with those. But new designs dropping every single week for you. Go and pick up some of the ones that we got right now. Woodward Tigers, LFG Red Wings, and you can't forget about the Lions as well, too. Their season might be over, but doesn't mean the spirit is. So still keep the pride coming, and we'll be right back.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Fuel your Detroit sports fandom with the Perfect Cup, and you might need that today for the trade deadline, man. With the Perfect Cup, and become a subscriber of Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Whether you're getting up for a big game, saving a quiet morning, kicking off the day with the WUW Crew and Woodward Sports, Sabbath Coffee Roasters has you covered with fresh, locally roasted specialty coffee delivered right to your door. Head to www.sabbathcoffeeroasters.com. Choose your favorite roast. Use code Woodward to get 25% off your first subscription order. Awaken and wine. Support local and enjoy game day right with Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Hey, and we are back. You know what, man? It's Wake Up Woodward, and we need you guys to go ahead and smash that like button. Let's run up these likes. It is NBA trade deadline day. You know what? The Pistons do have to do something because they are 2 players over the roster limit. So whether that's waiving players, because these players are all on 1-year deals, or if they get involved in a bigger deal, they can. And we will break these things down. Hey, you know, I'm about to put KG on the spot. Let's get that that satisfy the like button song, man. Y'all gotta treat it right.
Oh,
treat it nice.
Wait a
minute.
minute.
We need the mojo in the air for the trade deadline.
Wait,
man.
I came too early. Nah, nah. Hey, it's all good, man. Hey, it's getting toward the end of the week, and it's a little icy outside, man. So how about you slip and slide right on that like button, man? We would appreciate it if you just, slide your finger up and down that screen.
Sorry, I had a little message of Trajan Langdon in there as well, man. But you know what? The trade deadline got wacky.
Yeah.
At first, Jimmy Butler did not want to go to the Warriors. Then all of a sudden, he wanted to go to the Warriors. And the Pistons helped to make that happen. And it kicked off kind of, not kicked off. It's just kind of more in line with what we've seen at this trade deadline with over 8 All-Stars have been traded at this deadline. But the Miami Heat, they finalized the deal to send Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors for Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Anderson, and a protected first-round pick. And it's the reports are that Dennis Schroeder actually is supposed to be getting waived. I saw a lot of Pistons fans were like, yo, with the eye emojis and all that type of stuff. But as part of the deal as well, the Warriors, Lindy Waters, the third, and the Heat's Josh Richardson, I wish this was Josh Richardson 5 years ago, are headed to the Detroit Pistons, sources say. And you guys already heard about the other trade as well as it relates to KJ Martin yesterday. What the Pistons have done so far, they were able to utilize the room exception for KJ Martin and be able to facilitate these other trades using their cap space. I believe they might have about $7 to $9 million left available to facilitate some type of a deal today as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do to relieve themselves of these 2 extra players that are on the roster. And if they go and they just choose to get more draft capital, because they've effectively gotten a couple second-round picks, several second-round picks through this process, and those can become very, 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 valuable around draft time, or if you're trying to make a more attractive package at this trade deadline. But things kind of got turned upside down. I know fans are like, this is not enough. These are not the names that they want to hear. I do like KJ Martin and what he can present. He's still young. He's explosive. He can play defense. He's shooting 38% from behind the arc and 61% from the floor on low volume, but it means that when he's getting out there on the court, he is putting in that work, and I can respect that. I know Kenyon Martin reacted to it yesterday on Gil's podcast, and he said, I just want my boy to have an opportunity to play. And you know what? I know Kenyon Martin was born in Saginaw. His father grew up in Saginaw, and KJ Martin now is a member of the Detroit Pistons. That's the one that intrigues me the most.
I was going to say, I actually like KJ Martin a lot on this team. I was excited about that. And I'm not saying that he's exactly the missing piece to what the Pistons needed, but he's 6'6", he's a wing, he plays defense, he's athletic as hell, he cuts, he slashes. He is going to really love, if they keep him, playing with Cade Cunningham more than he liked playing with Tyrese Maxey. I can guarantee that. And no disrespect to Tyrese Maxey, it's just Cade is a better passer. And if you can move off ball like KJ Martin can, Cade Cunningham will find you. So I like that move. Don't get me wrong. The other two, if they serve a purpose down the road, I know they were the third team and a nice third wheel there. If they serve a purpose down the road, I'm fine with it. But KJ Martin's the only one that I really give a damn about in terms of potentially helping this team moving forward. Honestly, with KJ Martin, I'm looking at off the bench, KJ Martin, Ron Holland, wing defense, Asar Thompson as a starter. Very, very interesting. And like you said, he is a strong finisher at the rim. A lifetime 55%, this year 62. I like him on this team. I think he's the type of guy that would fit in really nicely to teams that are ready to win. And I think the Pistons might have gotten a steal with him, but we don't even know if they're going to keep him. We don't know who they're going to keep.
That's the thing. We don't know who they're going to keep. There was rumors that they could flip him, but I kind of want to see KJ Martin here in a Detroit Pistons uniform. It would kind of fall right in line with some of these other players that they've had here. I believe that there's still some potential to be able to tap on. When you talk about who his father was, it's just aggressive. He was one of those guys that you knew he got that dog. People didn't mess with him. It was similar to like Stu. If you guys didn't see Kenyon Martin play, you just didn't mess with him. That's just what it is. And his son has that in him too. They must have that great state of Michigan blood running through their veins. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to see that dog. I want to see what he gets when he gets an opportunity to really, really just play. And I do believe that there are opportunities here. I don't want to see this take away, though, from opportunities that, Ron Holland has in minutes that Asar Thompson can play. But that's where I want to see exactly what he can do. And can he be a small ball 4 in certain lineups because of how aggressive he plays, because of how powerful he attacks the rim? So, yeah, like you said, it's not something where we're like, yo, this is the help that Cade needs in the starting lineup. But as it relates to what moves they have made, the KJ Martin one is very intriguing to me. What about you, KG?
Yeah, and the bench needs some work. So if they were to keep a KJ Martin, I think that only benefits them. Like you said, he's a young player. He's athletic, can get to the basket. He does have a three-point shot. We need to see how consistent it is with more minutes. But I really like what KJ Martin can bring to this team just coming off the bench. A lot of people think he can replace Fontecchio's minutes. Don't know if that's the case. But there's an argument there.
38% from behind the arc.
With the way Fontecchio has played this year, it is an argument. So I will give you that. But the Pistons aren't done here. I mean, clearly, when this move came through, I instantly knew, okay, there's got to be something bigger at stake because no offense to Josh Richardson, but he is not a fit for this team. He is not the player that he once was. At one point he was a 16-point-a-game guy, but not really that anymore. And Lindy Waters, he's a young guy, hasn't really got a lot of burn over there with Golden State. A lot lot of people think he's okay, but I just don't see him as a fit for this team. So Trajan has to have something else up his sleeve. I think they're acquiring contracts right now, just trying to, either make a bigger move here at the deadline for picks, or maybe they will get some form of a player. Now, the big names are gone, but there is still the C.J. McCollums out there. There's still the Lonzo Balls of the world out there. So we don't know. But so far, I think that Trajan is plotting something. We just don't know what it is yet.
What he has done is he's given himself every single opportunity to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
That's the one thing he is. He's like the architect, man, from the Matrix. And so he gets the opportunity to say, you know what? We can pursue a star-type deal, or a guy like C.J. McCollum if we want to take on that type of a contract and financial burden. Or they can say, you know what? We can facilitate and just take on draft picks right now.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I notice is this. You're able to not just help teams right now, but what about teams that are looking to get busy towards the draft season? These deals that they just picked up are all one-year deals, meaning they're still really attractive to teams even teams who aren't in the race for the playoffs or for a championship hunt. Having these one-year deals that are going to expire after this season means that players can flip their cap space either right now at the deadline, or you can flip that cap space in the off-season by dealing with the Pistons. So they present multiple kind of beneficial opportunities for teams looking to get busy either now or at the deadline, and that gives the Pistons really a lot of as much flexibility as they can. Not having the control over their first-round draft pick, that really hampers them.
Yeah.
That cannot be understated. But I understand why Troy Weaver put the types of protections on it that he did, because if they were bad again this year, they get another shot in a loaded draft. But if you're good and exceed expectations, you're like, all right, let's just get going. And that's where I am intrigued to see what Trajan Langdon is going to do. And that's why I'm not judging Langdon purely off this deadline. They're in this position right now, one game under 500 now, with a chance to have 4 winnable games just before this deadline. I want to see them above 500 at least by a couple games going into the All-Star break. But Trajan Langdon, he has an opportunity to really punctuate the work that he's already done here.
I was going to say, as much as we're on pins and needles hoping that the Pistons make another move, as much as we're all very disappointed by what has occurred in the last couple of games with Cade tying both of them, and then Trae Young and Darius Garland hitting game winners, tough game winners, by the way, respectively. We also have to look at, kind of like how I did with Michigan basketball at the beginning of this show, just how far this team has come. We didn't have a basketball team to root for last year. As a Michigan basketball fan and as a Pistons fan, last year was... I can't even... It was so bad... I'm not even going to say the words that I want to say because they'd probably get me canceled. It was just as awful as it could possibly be. And then this year, I'm going to focus on the Pistons because I already did the Michigan talk. This year, they're 1 game under 500. They're in play-in positioning. Cade Cunningham's an all-star. And we had a discussion yesterday talking about, can they win 20 games to end the year? It's insane. Do I think they're going to do it without another move? Probably not, but I still think something is afoot. And oh, by the way, just another quick thing on KJ Martin. This whole KJ Martin taking minutes from Simone Fontecchio is more and more intriguing the more I look into it. Because in theory, Simone Fontecchio shoots better than KJ Martin, right? Throughout their entire careers, that's basically been the case. This year, though, one of the things that has been so maddening about Simone Fontecchio is he can't shoot worth a lick. He's lost that too.
There's no consistency.
No consistency. And KJ Martin, even though he's doing it on an extremely low volume, is shooting the 3 at a more efficient rate, and I think does everything else better on the court than Simone Fontecchio. You might have to call Simone Fontecchio, if you don't cut him, maybe give him a Simone Moore Jr. or Wendell Fontecchio Jr. kind of role, if you catch my drift.
Because what I don't think people understand with the KJ Martin type of a player, it's all about situation. He's playing with a team that has, in recent weeks, and I got to ask the question to JB Bickerstaff. I should have cut that audio up, and maybe I'll do that for a Woodward Pistons podcast. But they turned defense to offense really quickly. If you look over the last 2 to 4 weeks, especially the month of January, where they were one of the best defensive teams in the month of January. Ashard Thompson was top 5 in steals, and then when you expand that to like the top 20 and 30, you see a couple other Pistons in that list as well. That's where a KJ Martin becomes a very, very intriguing player with the way that he can run the floor, with the way that you can count on him in transition, with the way that he finishes at the rim, with the way that he plays defense. So when you see like Ron Holland and Asar Thompson, these guys are getting their hands out into the passing lanes. Yeah. But when you bring in the next set of wings behind them or any type of replacement, especially now that Ivy's out, are you getting that same type of play out of a Simone Fontecchio? Because if you're not hitting your threes at like a 39, 40, 41% clip, if you're Fontecchio, you can't also be the reason why they know we can attack you on defense. I'm not saying he's been a pylon. I think he's been decent, but he doesn't bring the same level of athleticism, the same level of in the passing lanes, the same level of being able to close out when the guards try to dive, as I believe a KJ Martin might be able to.
Yep, KJ Martin is great at all of that stuff, and he's even a better shooter this year, as I said. Go ahead.
No. If you got something else on that, say that, because I have something else that we have to it's pain, bro. Double pain yesterday.
Right, give me some pain.
Jay Hart, thank you first and foremost, Jay Hart, for the support. This guy supports us in the chat, on socials. He's even emailed me like, hey, shout out to you, man. Shout out to the chat family. Go ahead and hit that like button. I see you guys in the chat. He says Lonzo is gone, brother.
Oh, yeah. They locked up Lonzo. My apologies. Thought he was still available.
That's all right. That's that's certainly a sad one.
I think it's on a good deal, too. But obviously the injury is reconsidered. A 2-year, $20 million extension for Lonzo Ball.
Well,
what could have been?
Anywho, what could have been? Hopefully, Trajan gets somebody else.
I mean,
I see people saying Zion.
Yeah, it's not realistic, man. They not getting Zion, especially at the deadline or not. But that's why I kind of wanted to ask y'all, because most of the big names are gone. There are still some players out there, but at this point, if they were to just get draft picks, or if this is it, how do you feel if they don't bring in another player? As a fan, how do you feel?
As a fan, I wanted them to go out there and be involved in an Ingram or Levine or even a DeRozan, because those guys can handle the usage. It's not about their efficiency overall. It's about what they're doing to impact during their time. And when you can be one of those volume shooters that's going out there and getting your team into the bonus early in those quarters, that makes a huge difference for players like a Marcus Sasser. You know what I mean? I would rather Marcus Sasser, when he gets those kind of fouls where they kind of bump him, I'd rather him be shooting free throws. And players like that help to that cause. Rod and I, we've broken that type of stuff down the last couple seasons when we talked about Zach LaVine. And people's like, what? Then this year people were more on board with it because they understand the effect that those types of players have. And so, Zion is somebody that's very intriguing.
Of course.
Obviously, I think C.J. McCollum would make a little bit more sense for the Detroit Pistons at this point. I mean, I don't know if you can get your hands up. If you can get Zion, you go and you get Zion. But I just don't know how to make that work.
How do you get that, though? Because I assume Zion is going to require a lot of capital. So,
so at this
point,
how
do you do that?
That's
not really. I'm over here looking at Spotrac, their trade machine right now that they got going on. I mean, you could easily, from what I'm seeing, the trade would pass if you do like a Tobias Harris and Simone Fontecchio.
Yeah, but in a real life situation,
hell the fuck no. Are your GMs going to actually go for this? Probably not. You're probably going to have to add in a little bit more draft capital. But
you're not trading Zion for 2-year contracts of players like that. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But if they come away with just some draft capital and they still have their flexibility going into this offseason, and they still have an all-star in Cade, they still signed Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., Tobias. They're still exceeding expectation. That's the vacuum that I completely graded in. Mm-hmm. I can give the trade deadline its own grade. If they don't go and get some type of impactful rotation level player, I'm going to have to say C- or below.
Yeah.
If they go out there and get an impactful player, even if it's just rotation, not even saying star, then that's where we start saying C+ and above for me.
Got it.
And so I'm okay, though. Like, overall, I would still say he's passing the test. And I believe that if he doesn't do anything, it will be because they're trying to keep their flexibility for something they see down the road. Like, the deals we see right now, these are always going to favor the other teams, the contenders and such. We're not going to get a favorable deal right now unless we go and pursue as buyers. And to be buyers, we got to give up a little bit more than we actually want to and a little bit more than we actually have, because we have no first-round draft capital. With the protections going up the next 2 years, you can't trade back-to-back first-round picks. So they're tied up in that department. And that's where it's just like, you know what? I believe that they might be just trying to get themselves closer to the offseason, because even if they wanted to trade a Tobias, right? How much more attractive does it get at the end of the season? I'm not saying do it, But how much more attractive for someone if Fonseca signed a 2-year deal? How much more attractive to other teams is it if you know you're trading for a guy on a 1-year deal now?
Right.
Yeah, and that's why I think this whole trade deadline, how we are in a lot of ways demanding things out of Trajan Langdon, looking at what Toronto did, giving Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, and just thinking what could have been. Like I said, almost demanding if the Pistons don't do anything else, it's a failure. I think it's a testament to how the Pistons have performed so far this year, how they've exceeded expectations, how Cade Cunningham is a no-doubt top 20 player, that we're even having these discussions. Because I personally think that if they do nothing, if they get draft capital, if they keep KJ Martin, I think this is still a 500 basketball team. And think about what we would have done at the beginning of the year. I'm talking about cut off pinkies for the Pistons to even be a 500 basketball team.
I swear.
Bro, I was like, just give me like 30 wins.
Yeah.
I would be happy, man. Like,
You know what?
I'm ecstatic right now.
I'll go on a feet-kissing tour. I'll kiss JB Bickerstaff and Dusty Mays.
Whoa.
No.
Oh, we kissing.
We will dance to the sun together.
We kissing feet?
Goodness gracious, bro.
Just giving a little perspective. I'm not saying that it wouldn't behoove the Pistons to make another move. I'm just giving a little bit of perspective. And hey, maybe by the trade deadline, we'll be a lot happier than we even are now.
I don't think Willie B. Shout out Willie Baker.
yeah.
Baker. I don't know if he's down with the feet kissing.
Basketball was so bad last year. It was so bad. I'm a Michigan fan and a Pistons
different
fan.
strokes for different folks.
It was so bad watching it. I was like sad, man. Like my kids were sad. I get it. We get sad over the losses, but it was tough, bro, when you're sitting in the press conference and Cade walks in because you know he's gonna be the leader that he is, and he sits down. He just looks at the stats, and he's like, "We're not good. We're bad," and it just got silent in there. And you feel that type of stuff, man. So it's like to see these guys having this type of success right now. I understand where the exuberance comes from. Kavasier Chase, what up, though, brother?
Hey, what up, Joe? Good morning, everybody. I don't know. I'm trying not to think about the trade deadline because I just fantasize about Tobias Harris not being on this team.
It was
I'm
never
telling you,
going to happen.
trade machine windows up
Like,
right now with Tobias in each one.
It was never going to happen.
I'm sure there's a ton of other dudes who can put up 8 points and 2 rebounds in fucking 25 minutes for less than $26 million. It's like, he's just a bad player.
Get this man off this team.
Chuck Brewer said Kool-Aid. Didn't he mention why Stu barely touched the floor in the second, in the second half? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
I didn't notice that either.
It's interesting.
Especially with Duran being in foul trouble. Like, I don't know.
Before, you know,
That's kind of interesting.
that's a very good question, Chuck.
check those minutes now.
You've kind of stumped us all. But one quick thing about the trade deadline before we move on to TLB. Obviously we know that the Warriors, they wanted Jimmy Butler, and I think he's going to make the Warriors a better team. However, the Heat getting Andrew Wiggins, I like that a lot for them. You got Tyler Hero, you got Andrew Wiggins, you got Bam Adebayo. I don't think they're...
Pat Riley's he's good.
Absolutely. Remember just a couple of days ago, I was as positive can be that the Pistons were going to end up passing the Heat when it's all said and done. I'm not so sure anymore. I think they're going to be battling with each other to close the year, but I really like what Andrew Wiggins brings to a team that has other good players around him. How he's developed from being a disappointment in Minnesota, putting up a lot of empty stats, to eventually becoming someone who was a heavy contributor on a championship team and that type of guy that all winning teams want. Shout out to Andrew Wiggins, and I think he is going to do very, very well on the Miami Heat. I think the Heat made out very well in that trade.
I think he will be the one that's defending Cade in those games. When you talk about the type of impact two-way, and how all the Warriors fans and the Warriors brass and the Warriors players have talked about him just being one of the most important players to their championship run. That's where it's like, because before we were talking about all dysfunction teams. Andrew Wiggins is one of those guys in your locker room who's so far anti-dysfunction. You're flipping the switch. Yes, Jimmy Butler's a heck of a player. And I know there's the stats out there about who he is per 100 possessions. He's like one of your top players at putting the ball into in the rim from an ISO standpoint. Yeah. But what you get with Andrew Wiggins, and you got an all-star over there already in Tyler Herro, you get an opportunity to kind of play a little less centered ball around Jimmy Butler and a lot more around kind of the vibes that Andrew Wiggins brings. Kind of the vibes that I know Tyler Herro has as well and some of those other players. Like, now is where I'm looking at some of their three-point shooters, and I'm like, sheesh, they're going to get a whole lot more work than they probably were with Jimmy Butler.
Shout out Duncan Robinson.
Yeah.
Go blue, go blue. But, anywho.
Trade deadline at 3.
It's time to TLB now because KG has a question that he wants to pose to all of us, and I think that it is a very interesting one. We're looking a little bit into the future, but Lions are in certain waters now that they haven't been in their entire franchise history, and I think it's a good idea to talk about it. But first, Lady Janes.
Hey, at Lady Janes, we take the trot of getting a haircut. Our talented stylist will deliver an industry-leading haircut, relaxing scalp massage, my favorite, that hot lather. Hold on. That hot lather neck shave and a hot towel treatment.
You want some other shit?
Yeah, the hot towel placement, man.
Hey, look, ask, don't suggest. All right, no tucker situation.
Right, no below the belt, man. Keep everything above the belt.
No tucker situations at all.
Yeah.
Male or Justin. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's haircuts from me is wicked awesome.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got everybody.
This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insight with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce, he's their medical director, every Tuesday on Big D Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering you top-notch injury advice. You got to trust the guy at DMAC Trust. Especially right now as he continues to just bring you guys updates on some of those Lion players who are still rehabbing, Jaden Ivey, and the outlooks and prospects on some of the players right now. But Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game, performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. Hey, and we are back. It is Wake Up Woodward and Chat family. We appreciate you all for kicking off the day with the WUW Crew. Shout out to our brother Matthew Broder, that dude Justin, Cavassier Chase. Got Willie B in the building. And the sound booth, Detroit's #1 draft pick, that is KG. Rookie of the Year and MVP on the way. Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth, that is JB Smooth. You guys already know it's Kool-Aid and it's Flannel. Hey, we got a super chat or two to get to.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We got a super chat to clear up here. Shout out to Rando Small, sending in a $10 super chat. He says, Kool-Aid, love to see the bond you have with your kids. My father did the same with baseball with me. So shout out to Rando Small for the $10 super chat, man.
Shout out, Rando. Thank you for that, man. Thank you. I know the boys, they're going to appreciate hearing that type of stuff and seeing themselves on the show. That was a JB Smooth thing, man. So I'm going to make sure that they know that. Thank you for that, man. But Appreciate you, Randall Smalls, as well, for the $10 super chat. And really, all of you out there in chat world, I'm telling you, it goes a long way for not just WUW Crew, but Woodward Sports. Hit that like button, share the stream, get your comments in, and make sure you're leaving comments about your thoughts on this trade deadline and what you hoping the Pistons do by 3. And I want your grades right now, too. Give me your grades in the chat on so far on the Pistons trade deadline. And let's get a like poll. Let's see where the Lions fans are as we turn to our question of the day.
Yeah.
What up, KG? This is what like our WUW Crew Ponders segment, huh?
Yeah. We're pontificating.
Pontificating.
So, you know,
we're percolating.
I kind of got to thinking, and shout out to Ryan Ermanni on Ermanni and Edwards with Maz every day 2 to 4. You know, Ermanni came out and he kind of said, you know, his level of concern with the Lions right now. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, you know, I can't necessarily sweat any Lions fan at this current moment that is a little bit concerned. And just because you're concerned don't mean you don't think they'll win a Super Bowl, but the fact that you in the last 2 years have been to the NFC Championship and lost, and then you follow it up with this year losing in the divisional round playoff as the number 1 seed in the NFC, I do think there is, you know, some things to maybe be concerned about. You're looking at where the Lions are franchise-wise. It's a lot of turnover this year that they have to worry about in terms of front office coaching and some players as well. So I wanted to present the question to you guys and also the chat. You can leave y'all answers in the chat, and we will read them off. But what is a suitable timeline for the Lions to actually win a Super Bowl? Now, this is, you know, what you feel the window is before you become concerned, pretty much. So is it, you know, they got to win one within the next 2 years? Do they have to win one this year, or you feel like it's going to fall apart? You know, me personally, I think it's, you know, the end of Goff's contract. They have to win a Super Bowl by the end of Goff's contract in order for this thing to, you know, really be good before I really become concerned as a fan. But to you guys, what is a suitable timeline for the Lions to actually win a Super Bowl?
I usually measure sports in like decades, and I do know this. You have this 2-year window kind of with Jared Goff, and that to me is what you want to take advantage of. That to me is where you want to go and say, you know what, let's win this thing. It's what you're built for right now specifically. But when you do hear Brad Holmes, who I separate from just this Goff era, is where I do believe that if they don't get it done in the Goff era, I believe in Brad Holmes to go out there and identify who the quarterback is going to be to take us into the next era. And that's where, to be fair to a GM, he's had unprecedented success as it relates to Lions history, and he did it very, very fast. To say that this GM was going to be a Super Bowl ready team within 3 years is insane to me.
Yeah.
And so I would give him at least this Goff era, and then whoever would come after, or whatever the next era is, to consider that a Super Bowl window, you know, time frame.
Okay. Sam.
All right, so I think there's a couple of ways to look at it. I think that if they don't win next year, you start to get a little bit concerned. You start to get labeled as a team that can't win the big one, more of a regular season team, because you look at the last couple of seasons and their last 2 playoff appearances, they choke away a 17-point halftime lead in the NFC Championship game one year, and then the next year lose by double digits as the number 1 seed to a wild card team. Not necessarily great. I know that there are a lot of factors that went into it, but in terms of narrative, that's not great for the national narrative. Not that the national narrative matters, but you're eventually going to be the team that can't win the big one. As far as the Lions go, one thing that could be of concern is the fact that next year you still, guys like Panay, guys like Amon-Ra, guys like Jared Goff, their cap hits are relatively manageable. But next year is when Goff's cap hit skyrockets, and Amon-Ra has a big one, Panay has a big one as well. And then as time goes on, you have to re-sign the guys or cut the guys who you drafted. You're going to have to re-sign Kirby, Aiden Hutchinson, or cut whatever you had decided to do with them. J-Mo, Laporta, Branch, Gibbs, Jack Campbell, those guys are not going to be on rookie contracts forever. So I think it would behoove the Lions to get it done within the next couple of years. However, when you look at teams that have long windows, that windows get extended, what do they all have in common? Whether it's the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, the San Francisco 49ers, you could even throw the Los Angeles Rams in that, and hopefully the Lions join that. And you can include the Baltimore Ravens as well, Bills, even though they haven't went to a Super Bowl. They all have front offices who are competent and draft well and make smart moves.
I was going to say GM, coach, QB.
Yeah. That's and that's the thing. Just I'll give the Philadelphia Eagles as a perfect example. Last year, they had some deficiencies. They had their coordinators weren't as good. Their secondary was really kind of trashed for the most part. But what did they do this offseason? This offseason was actually one of the best you'll ever see. They drafted Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, who have been huge for their secondary, and they also acquired Saquon Barkley, who you could argue is the best free agent signing ever, at least in his first year. And you know who else they acquired, basically off the scrap heap? Current all-pro linebacker Zach Bond, who was a special teams player for the New Orleans Saints earlier on in his career. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs, how well that they've drafted, getting guys like McDuffie and Karlaftis and Rashee Rice and Trey Smith, and you look back at their history as well. Guys like Chris Jones and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes was Brent Veach's first ever draft pick. You look at the Rams with Les Snead, what they've done recently. They did it in 2018 where they drafted guys like Goff and Aaron Donald and Todd Gurley, et cetera, while also making smart moves. And in 2021, they were able to get it done again by acquiring guys like Matthew Stafford. They were actually able to win it this time. Matthew Stafford, Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, all of those were hits. And Cooper Kupp, of course, had that phenomenal season draft pick, and they've been able to go from the F them picks to being a good team again because of how well they've drafted. Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, Byron Young, Kobe Turner. My point with all of that is, in order to have an extended window, you need a GM who is competent and is going to continue to set his team up for success. And I think we all believe that about Brad Holmes. But Brad Holmes is going to get tested in a way that the Brent Veaches and the Les Sneads and the Howie Rosemans of the world have recently, as to when they've been there for years where they re-sign multiple guys under huge contracts. You have to make big decisions of who to cut, who to keep. That's where Brad Holmes' mettle will be tested even more. My point with all of this is I would like him to get it done in these next couple of years so that he has a Super Bowl under his belt, so that there's a lot less pressure, because you don't want to be that team consistently great in the regular season 3, 4, 5 years down the road but not cash one in. Then you're the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. Then, dare I say, you could even become
the Steelers
this year, notwithstanding even the Dallas Cowboys. And you certainly don't want to be that.
Damn. I wouldn't say it's that bad.
No, but
I get what you mean.
But, like I said, a 17-point lead choke, halftime NFC Championship 1 year, double-digit loss as a 9.5-point favorite, one seed at home versus a wildcard team next year in the playoffs. That's not great.
No,
yeah, and that's what I say. I look at it in a couple different aspects, similar to you as well. You look at the 49ers, too, who've knocked on the door 3 or 4 times in a row. I still believe that they're going to have somewhat of a future ahead of them to be able to get back. But you see how quickly those things can change. So even my perspective of believing, if they don't get it done in the Goff era, I do trust Brad Holmes' ability to draft. I do trust his assessment for free agents and his ability to trade to get this thing going. That's who jump-started this already. When a lot of us thought, Jared Goff is not the guy. How is he going to get this done? Brad Holmes has steered the ship. I do believe that he can do that again, and he was a part of some of the success that happened with the LA Rams as well. And that's where a lot of my belief goes into, even if it doesn't get done in the Goff era. Is it a failure if it doesn't get done in the Goff era? I would say yes. This team has been Super Bowl ready for a few years, and we understand what the injuries are right now. So I'm not trying to excuse that, but that's why I said there's other people who will wear that failure, but I do believe that Brad Holmes will have opportunity to wash that failure off, where some of the players that are here, like maybe even a Goff or others, might not be here for that opportunity. But this is where it's an interesting question here from the Real K77 statement. He says, if we don't do it in the Jared Goff era, Brad Holmes is out of here.
Ooh,
I just don't feel like that.
I don't think it'll be that, but there is a level of uncertainty if it gets to the end of Goff's contract and you haven't won a Super Bowl. That is why my personal answer is the end of Goff's contract, because once you don't have a quarterback or a definite, solution at quarterback, then the waters really get murky, man. Then that's when, the Lions may need to retool in a bigger way than we, even imagine. And I know a lot of people think it's as easy as, okay, Hendon Hooker is the backup. Soon as Goff's done, Hendon Hooker will just step into that spot and the Lions will keep on rolling. That's not the case. Hendon Hooker will be 30 by the time Goff's contract is over. And if they don't re-sign Goff, are you going into the draft looking for a rookie quarterback? What if the Lions are consistently a winning team? You're going to be drafting from, 28 to 32 every year. Can you really get a quarterback at the end of the first round? Like, there's a lot of questions as to how will they keep this train rolling if you don't get it done while Goff is your quarterback. And say what you want about Jared Goff, we all know the level that he can reach. We've seen him go to a Super Bowl. We've seen him win playoff games. Once Jared Goff leaves, that level of uncertainty raises because the next quarterback that you get in here, what are they like in the regular season? What are they going to be like in the playoffs? Can they get your team to that next level? So I would be concerned if they didn't get it done within the next 2 years, which I believe is the end of Goff's contract. So by 2026, 2027? You have to cash one in by now.
My concern definitely raises if you don't do that with Jared Goff, but in this era we have seen not rookie quarterbacks going out there and winning Super Bowls, but we have seen rookie quarterbacks and young quarterbacks really make the difference really make a big difference for their teams.
True.
And that's where I do say, and that's where my faith kind of comes in, where I say, you know what, I give them about the decade. You're going to have the Jared Goff era, and whether you choose that Jared Goff is the guy to lead that next 4 to 5 years or somebody else, I do trust Brad Holmes' assessment because the first time I didn't, it was Jared Goff, and look at us now.
I hear you.
Here eating that type of humble pie.
And I get your point on the rookie quarterbacks, but we've also become a little spoiled in that aspect because the last few drafts, we've had some rookie quarterbacks be standouts, but we got to realize how hard that actually is for a QB to come in year one and just be able to do what a Jaden Daniels did or even a CJ Stroud 2 years ago. That type of stuff normally doesn't happen, which is why a rookie quarterback has not won a Super Bowl to this point.
It's not something you count on.
Yeah, we've seen them have playoff success, but even, in the CJ Stroud case, you could look good in your first year, but what does that second year look like? So, I mean, it
not
gets
as
tricky.
bad as people think.
No, but I get what you mean. But yeah.
No, I think your point is well said. Other than I think people act like CJ Stroud turned into a bum in his second year. He was a little worse. He was
the next coming. This is somebody we deemed as the next coming, and the season, the way it played out, it wasn't necessarily that. He didn't have a bad year, but it wasn't what we thought it would.
His numbers went down.
Yeah,
they did. I will give you that, and that's why when we're talking about just how hard it is to build a team, which Brad Holmes has done, and maintain success for many, many years. One of the reasons that I brought up all of those other teams, and I'll go back to it, the Eagles, the Rams, and the Chiefs, is that when they were building the team up the first time, they all cashed one in. I guess with the Rams, you could say 2018 was the first time, but the point is that they were able to cash one in 2021 with the more of the F them pick style, and now they're back to being a good team because of how well they've drafted in 2024. We know what happened with the Kansas City Chiefs. They got a Super Bowl in 2019 and have really reshaped their team back to where they're winning still in 2023 and 2024, even though they've had to get rid of guys like Tyreek Hill and Tyrann Mathieu. The Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, look how different their team was in 2017 versus what it's been in 2022 and 2024. That was Howie Roseman doing it once, cashing one in, and then doing it again. That's why I think it's critical, I would say, in the next 2 years for the Lions to cash one in, just so the pressure is off. Because you don't want to be that team. You don't want to be the Buffalo Bills right now. You don't want to be the Baltimore Ravens. You want to be a team that actually cashes one in and then is able to build off of that, because that takes all the pressure off. I mean, what would we all give in this room, even if the Lions were to be a bottom dweller for the next 3 years?
Yeah, I was say, Super Bowl. Strip the team clean. All my favorite players can go. If you're telling me that there's a Super Bowl here in Detroit, and we understand that, it was kind of funny for us, but when we were at Ford Field for the event, JB Smoove and Brady and others were there. It was funny how we just kind of looked up and we were like, man, it's beautiful, isn't it? And it was like the first and the only NFC banner up there. And it's like, what if there was a Super Bowl banner up there? That's just crazy to me. And it's just like, you know what? I'm hoping that whatever the recipe was, that the Rams were able to use to sell completely out, to put a Super Bowl winner on that field, especially around Stafford, because he was a part of their selling out. They literally took a quarterback who took them to the Super Bowl and said, you know what? We're going to move in a different direction very, very quickly. And that's where I'm hoping that whatever that recipe was, who I was told, we all heard, Brad Holmes, he's one of those guys, and we see it on display right now. I'm hoping that he can go and do that over these next 2 years. Yeah. And I thought in large part he did. They got decimated. 22 injuries is not the norm. That's just not what happens to teams.
But every year we can't predict this shit. Each year that you don't get it done, it gets that much harder, almost, for lack of better words, compare it to a noose. Like, you know, you are on this noose and it gets tighter every time that you don't get it done. And eventually you'll hang yourself. So, I mean, I hate to say that in terms of the Lions, but there is a certain level of urgency they need to have when doing this.
That's what I'm saying. I want him to be able to go out there and do one of those all-ins. Go balls to the wall, get Myles Garrett, get Max, do whatever you have to do, knock on all the doors. That's just me. I trust whatever Brad Holmes does. So I'm not sitting here saying that Brad Holmes, if he doesn't do this, he's not doing his job.
No, of course not.
If it was me, I'm with you guys in terms of get this thing done right now. But I do believe he is a level of GM that if it doesn't happen with Goff, that he is able to build something in the next go around. But you're right, there are no guarantees at all.
And we think that he is. And before we move on and get to a triple threat, which we're all on pins and needles for, I want to give some credit as well, because a lot of what I've said in this segment was actually inspired by a segment that Colin Cowherd did, talking about good front offices and correlating with teams maintaining success and getting to the Super Bowl regularly. So a shout out Colin Cowherd. He's one of the GOATs. I hope to be like him someday. And I just... that wasn't just my brilliant thoughts. I put my own spin on it, but I look to others for inspiration as well.
Hey, you know what? That's fair.
Real quick, can I just read off some of the answers? We had some really good answers in the chat during this segment. Adiz 411 next year, made in the USA next year. Luke, 3-year window. Tabitha Gable, 2026. Zion Taylor in the next 3 years. Randall Smalls, Brad's timeline is to contend for the next 10 years. And while that may be so, we wanted to get your personal timeline. I see Adiz again saying 2030. I thought Phil had a really good answer here. Forget this coming year. Maybe next year. We may need to retool once. Don't give up your future for an uncertain present. So there's some really good answers in here. Phil DeYoung, 2 to 3 seasons.
Are most of us about in that 2 to 3 range in terms of personal?
That's what it appears.
It's like get it done in the golf era.
Yeah, some super chats to clean up as well too. Shout out to everyone sending them in.
Thank you guys.
$1.99 super chat from Mac Walker Jr. He says, my only concern is if Brad fixes the D line or not. Another super chat sent in from Nick 83. He says, so we have 53 guys on contract for next season when a roster is, or 51 guys on contract for next season when a roster is 53 with 7 draft picks. So yeah, F them picks, go get Garrett and win your ring. And also shout out to Burns as well too. Another $5 super chat. Howie got essentially fired before winning and the Chiefs lost the AFC conference game with Smith and didn't pass the divisional round for 5 years before Mahomes. So a little bit stuff to think about as well.
And I know he's responding to what I said. And maybe I made it sound a little bit too simplistic that it just happened overnight. That's not at all what I was implying. But Howie Roseman eventually got it done. And I think the fact that the Eagles got it done with Howie Roseman and they got organizational pressure off of them because that's still the only Super Bowl they've ever won in their franchise history. Look at what Howie Roseman has done for this team since then, after getting that proverbial monkey off of his back. Just look at the last couple of drafts. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. You can add Jordan Davis to that the year before. Nakobe Dean. Are you kidding? And with the Chiefs, for the record, too, yes, when Alex Smith was their quarterback, pretty much for the Kansas City Chiefs' entire organizational history besides Super Bowl IV, they were known as a playoff choking team. However, it was Brent Veach that made the decision to draft Patrick Mahomes. And ever since then, they've been the best dynasty we've pretty much ever seen, certainly if they finish off this three-peat. So certainly it doesn't happen overnight. I'm just saying that eventually those guys got it done, and I think we believe Brad Holmes will as well. But it does. But if they don't, even the next couple of years, the narratives will not be pretty. And the narratives weren't pretty about the Eagles and the Chiefs for a while, to be fair.
Yep. Yeah. And you know what? I think that's a good question, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let's say what up, though, to some friends, and let's get into triple threat. I can't wait, brother.
Yep, let me tell you about the big game watch party. Woodward Sports is back at it again with their watch party at Hayes Social. So come watch the game with the crew on 3 17-foot screens. Book your table today before they are all gone. Call 586-247-2223. We got great food, drink specials, and the best big game party around. Once again, that is Hayes Social at 21 Mile and Hayes in Shelby Township. Brought to you in part by 1800 Sabbath Coffee, Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza, and a New Holland Brewing Company. We look forward to seeing you there.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Attention, calling all skiers and snowboarders. Get ready to send it on a 14-foot drop-in ramp with 3 custom features at the brand new Jars Utica location parking lot on Saturday, February 22nd from 1 to 5 p.m. Jam-style competition judged by 3 guest pros. You can win up to $8,000 in cash prizes that are up for grabs. Register at jarscannabis.com/JarsRailJam to sign up. It's open to skiers and snowboarders. You have to be 21 or older, and it's limited to only 50 participants, so lock in your spot today. Remember, DMAC and Stick will be doing a special broadcast from 2 to 4 that day as well, too. Spectators are always welcome. The event is free to attend with free food with any Jars Cannabis purchase as well, too. You got live DJs and also other giveaways as well, too, that they'll be doing. Drop in, cash out, and get railed.
Hey, y'all already know that rail jam.
Let's
man.
get real.
Let's go. Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. Appreciate you, chat family, for kicking off the day with the WUW Crew. Stay safe out there, man. Like my car, man. I think all of ours. We woke up, everything froze just over. Ice. I'm walking to the car like, little baby steps and everything, trying not to slip and fall. Stay safe out there. I'm happy that the WUW Crew made it in safe and sound. You know what? Obviously, Cavassier Chase loves this type of weather. You and Ryan Lentz was out there taking a run?
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, if you want to find us on Facebook, the 3.13 Run Club. We're texting him right now. Told him I got my bag in the bag. We're kind of like playing it by ear. But the sidewalks, they look good enough to go running,
Nope.
All right, y'all can have that shit.
I ain't slipping on none of that. Nope.
That's Cavassier Chase for you. Randall Smalls $5 super chat so we can be warming up with golf and going to run with Hooker at 30. LOL.
Yes.
You know what?
Come on.
I think What up, though?
There's a sector of people that really believe that. You know, no offense to Hendon Hooker. I'm not vibing with that.
We all want to see him succeed. I don't vibe with
I
that
don't
one
think
either.
you do, KG.
You said what?
You hate Hendon Hooker.
What? Where is this coming from?
I don't think you hate Hendon Hooker. I just don't think he hasn't proven himself to you just yet. Which
I was
mean,
praying
he
that they
hasn't had
drafted
any
him at the
opportunity
time.
to.
Wait, I've never hated Hendon Hooker. I just think that logically he's the backup going forward. I don't think we'll ever see him in a starting capacity unless Jared Goff gets hurt. But I've never outright hated him. I wanted him to be drafted.
The second Hooker gets mentioned, though, it's just like, oh my God, so you want Hooker to be the starter? You want Goff gone?
But realistically, when is that going to happen?
Where are the Hooker bros out there?
Right. Realistically, when is that going to happen, though?
Never.
That's my point.
We might need some Hooker bros shirts.
I mean, that's just me. I'm a Hooker bro.
Make sure Flannel gets 5% royalties. No.
Right. Fucking Hooker bros out here. All y'all some fucking hookers.
I wonder if there are Flannel bros out there, man.
Probably not.
There's gotta be. Hey, look, if any of you guys are Flannel bros, put it in the chat, man.
This is going to be an interesting chat.
I don't have the power to mobilize bot armies like Neil Rule, but maybe I'll get there someday.
Someday.
Let's rock. Triple threat. KG always smashes with the segments. Let's go. And guess what? For this one, you don't even have to pay $24.99 for it.
You don't. Hey. But if you drop something in the super chat, you will be boosted to the front of the line. We'll read off whatever you got to say. Good, bad, or indifferent.
And it helps us get that much closer to Vegas. NBA Summer League. WUW Crew to Vegas. The super chats are going there. It's a pretty penny. Look at JB Smooth cooking up yet again with the graphics.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, and you know what, man? We have a lot that we're going to be able to incentivize you all with as well. We will keep track of the super chats. It puts you in line to win merch. I'm trying to get gift cards and tickets and other things that you guys will be able to have too. And maybe depending on the amount, maybe we take somebody with us. Who knows?
Hey, who knows, man? You can't be crazy, though. That's the only requirement. You can't be a fucking maniac.
I know who I want to nominate. Who? Dante, bro.
He would deserve it.
Yeah.
He been sponsoring us for quite a while now, so I mean, he deserves it.
Shout out Dante.
Shout out Dante. He would be the leader in the clubhouse right now. And you know what, man? Let's run up the likes. Let's run up the super chats.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you guys, if you guys talk about, hey, do the super chats go to help them? In this instance, yes, they do.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm dead serious. And y'all want to see us in Vegas.
And every little bit helps, man. So we appreciate y'all, going ahead and contributing to the cause. But
let's go.
The name of the game is Triple Threat, and y'all know what it is by now. I will present a certain situation or scenario, and in 3 words.
Hey, presented by Feldman.
Yep. Shout out Feldman. But yeah, in 3 words, you will have to tell me how you feel about said subject. So, with that being said, number 1, how will you feel about Brad Holmes if he doesn't trade for Myles Garrett? In 3 words. Damn, we got a lot of silence here.
Sad, but okay.
I was just saying, y'all motherfuckers got quiet.
Sad, but okay. Like, it's still Brad Holmes. I trust him.
I am going to say at least try. I want to hear that you made an effort, and if it's not the best deal, I can live with that, but at least try.
That one.
It's like the Max Crosby deal. When I've heard reports, they knocked on the door.
Yeah.
Sam, that's a great answer.
Yep.
That's exactly what I was going to go with, too. At least you tried. Just let me know that you had some feelers out there, like you were pushing for it, but it just didn't work out in your favor, and you can look in another direction for someone else. Chase?
Over there pondering. Look at it.
Yeah, what I was thinking of is 4 words, so I'm trying to figure out how to say it. Fortune favors bold.
Okay.
You fill in the blank in the other word there. Go after it, man. It's not gonna sit around and wait for you. Don't wait for it to come to you.
Yeah.
Just go out and take it.
Well, Chase, I hate to be that guy, but the question was, how would you feel if Brad Holmes doesn't trade for Myles Garrett?
Okay, then I guess I heard the question wrong then.
Yeah, no, you all good.
How would I feel?
In 3 words.
Come back to me. Can you go?
Yeah.
You want me to read the chat?
Yeah, you read the chat.
Denver Blair, I'd be pissed. Chuck Brewer.
I'd be pissed.
Chuck Brewer, trust the process. Oh my gosh, you want to, but that's not a phrase that I really want to associate it with our team.
Right.
I get you, Chuck. Shout out to Chuck. Manuki Mansion just wanted to say KG's a smart guy.
Oh, thank you.
He's a smart guy.
But Luke, sorry, says, I am good. Stephen David, ain't no thing. Let me see
like
here.
that.
Any more threes?
No
Randall
thanks.
Smalls, I am fine. A-Dis 411. Life moves on. Steve DeYoung. And I see what you did there. This man must have went to writing school. Better draft edge rusher, and he put the little connecting hyphen to make it kind of one phrase.
Smart man. That's one word.
Smart man.
That's
So-
one word.
And
That's
Mr.
not one
Big,
word.
200, he agrees with you all. At least you tried.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, for me it would be a bit disappointed because I like Chase said, I totally agree with his sentiments. I feel like you got to go for it, especially at this stage, seeing that you know what this team is capable of, you know the heights that they can reach. Why not just give us something to maybe push us over the top? I understand there are some things to work out contract-wise, but if there's anybody I trust with the books and contracts, it's Brad Holmes. So I feel like you can get this done, man, and let's not worry about 2 to 3 years down the line. Let's worry about this season and maybe the next season after that, and let's really make a push for this thing.
Hey, that's right, brother.
Chase, did you have an answer real quick before we move on?
That's right.
I'm just gonna say please, please, please. Like, I guess that's not how I feel, but
Yeah,
you know.
but I
chose
get
some
you.
You know what I
Carpenter
mean.
song?
Yeah, I got you.
Please,
I got
please,
you.
please.
All right, so number 2, the Pistons need to blank before the trade deadline ends. I am looking for 3 words. The Pistons need to blank before the trade deadline ends.
Goodness gracious. Make a trade. Goodness gracious.
Get draft picks.
Acquire a
Get-
facilitator.
Okay, there
That's
you
what
go.
I'll say. Acquire a facilitator. We already understand how this offense looked when Cade is not in the game. We already understand that this offense can take another level sometimes if he can play some of his minutes off ball. But right now, they can't do any of that, especially since Jaden Ivey has gone down. And so I want to see them go out there and acquire a facilitator. Preferably, you would want that to be one of your top 7, in my opinion, top 7 players on your team.
Yeah.
Which means that some people might move a little bit down in the right route, maybe top 8 at least. I'll give Stu and Beasley their credit, but acquire a facilitator.
Okay, Sam.
I am going to say acquire Colin Sexton. I think that's the one you gotta go after right now. He's a 48% shooter, 41 from 3. He's damn near 50-40-90 this year, averaging 18 a game, the same amount of assists that Jaden Ivey was averaging when he went down, which is 4.1. And he's pretty cheap, all things relative. His cap hit for the duration of his contract is under $20 million a year every single year, and the Pistons can afford it. I think he's exactly what the doctor ordered for this Pistons team to take some of the pressure off of Cade, and I think that will get some of his legs back under him, which I think are a little bit tired right now. Acquire Colin Sexton.
JB Smooth.
Oh, this one's easy. Get Tobias out.
It's
Get
not
Tobias
happening.
out
happening,
here
JB.
right now and get Cade some other help that he deserves so badly right now. I'm sorry. Get this man out of here.
Well, copy and paste for Chase.
Sorta, yeah. Starting power
Sorta,
forward.
yeah.
Starting power forward.
Damn.
Send Tobias to the bench. That's where he belongs. He should
Oh
be
my
coming off the bench as like the 7th man. I'd rather see Beef Stew get the start over Tobias.
Jesus, man. Listen, I've been critical of Tobias too, but y'all is taking it to a new level. I get it though. I get it.
There's a lot of responses here, man. A
I'm
lot
sure
more than I
there
thought in
is.
the chat. and you know what? A lot of it surrounds like Impaler of Horizons. Get a star. Maurice Shaw. Get K to help. Steve O'Baby. Make a splash. Ryan's reaction. Sell the team. Get out of here.
Right.
Get out of here, Ryan. Ryan, you're one of the good ones. Come on. Shout out to Ryan's reaction. One of the good ones, man. Boots on the ground. AC. Sell them picks. Honolulu BS. Get K to help. Find K help from Chuck Brewer. Go get McCollum. CJ McCollum. Steven David. That's another good one I wouldn't mind. Especially when you talk about facilitators. But I kind of like Sexton a little bit more. I like Flannel's suggestion there. But Shane Daniel, trade those picks. Eric Minion Sr., get DeMar DeRozan. Man, this feels like last year. I see a lot of people talking about DeMar. This is something that 2 years in a row, people laughed at the thought of Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. We talked about it on this show even. And now it seems like a lot more people are in line with get something
now
like
look
that.
at you desperate mother. No. But, hey, man, I was going to say get a facilitator, but now looking at this thing, I'll say get a scorer. I think you need to get another scorer alongside Cade Cunningham, because nights like last night and, you know, the Hawks game kind of show you that if Cade just had a little bit more help on the scoring end, then maybe you outlast a team like the Hawks. Maybe you outlast, you know, the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. So if you can get another scorer in here, because I think they can make do without a facilitator just based on how they've been able to get to
By
this point.
facilitator, I did mean a guard like C.J. McCollum or Colin Sexton. And they're scorers too, but they're facilitators.
I got you. Yeah, and if you can get somebody that can do both, even better. But you look at just how Marcus Sasser has played. I think he can finish the role that you need him to play right now until you get to the offseason. But get a scorer, man. Get somebody that can go get a bucket next to Cade.
Absolutely.
Bingo.
Colin Sexton, 18 a game.
I like that one.
48, 41, 89 shooting splits, best year of his career. I know he was kind of radioactive in a lot of ways for a while, but he's good.
Yeah.
He'd work on this team.
All right. Number 3. How far can the Tigers go as presently constructed? In 3 words. How far can the Tigers go as presently constructed? No Bregman.
Damn.
AL top seed.
That's 4, but okay.
Well, no, the AL is kind of one thing.
All right, well, fine. Fair,
Come on,
fair.
A.L.
I got you.
Come on, man. AL top seed, I think as present, is their ceiling. I don't think that they're going to get it.
Yeah.
But I do think that they, especially bringing Flaherty back.
Yeah. They got some top seed in the American League. So that's more than just the division.
They pushed they pushed. I am in line with Flannel as it relates to the AL Central. We saw what they were last year, so that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm setting my eyes towards bigger and towards better. I like what this pitching staff is. I really do. We saw how much it carried them, and they were the best team over the last 40 games of the season. That's a large swath of games in Major League Baseball. So I'm just like, you know what? Go out there and be that best team. You made some improvements. I think that they still have a few more improvements ahead of them, but as currently constructed, yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be tall order. But.
Sam, interested to get your answer.
Well, I'm becoming in a lot of ways who I make fun of and who I hate. I am going full on happy slappy. Win it all.
Oh,
yes, I
shit.
said win it all.
Whoa.
Absolutely. And let me give you my rationale.
With no Bregman, they can win it all.
He's on a heater in triple threat right now.
No
Give me a 3-point size.
Absolutely. No Bregman. Not even without Bregman.
Holy
I think their
shit.
pitching staff, when you combine their starters and their bullpen, is going to be the best in the American League, at least maybe Major League Baseball. And I like their lineup better than most people. I love Riley Green. If Kerry Carpenter stays healthy, if Parker Meadows is consistent, Gleyber Torres, I think a guy like Matt Vierling is a very, very solid starter / utility player. I think that their lineup will be a lot better than you think. And I also just look at the landscape of the American League. The American League is now wide open. Juan Soto gone from the Yankees, Kyle Tucker gone from the Astros, Corbin Burns gone from the Baltimore Orioles. That's huge. That's arguably your best or your second best player from those respective teams. And honestly, if the Tigers were to get to the World Series and face a team like the Dodgers, I think they would lose. Who went to the World Series out of the National League the year before? The upstart Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. Not saying they'd even be the best team, but advantageous matchups, they sometimes happen in the World Series. I'm sure the Rangers were happy to play the Diamondbacks that year instead of the Dodgers. So win it all.
Yo, man, who is this Sam Stripes over here, man?
Right? That's crazy. He make a compelling argument.
Hey, 3 heater answers in a row. I'm going to need the 3-point dance. Let me see the 3-point celebration, Flannel Sam.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's not even I don't have one. I just made one up.
Let's go.
JB, man.
Oh, man.
How far can the Tigers go as presently constructed?
I don't want to be a downer on this one, but second round exit. Look,
Okay.
This team is gritty, just
not
like
even down by that.
just like
I'm
the
not.
Pistons as well too. But I feel like this is going to be once again the same thing that we endured this past season. We can't still get over the hump with the same amount of guys that we have. Like, we've got the energy, we got the guys here, but it's just you're missing something, and this team just needs that to kind of push them over the edge. So just spend some money. Open your wallet, damn it, Chris. Come on. Chris, Chase.
I'm going to say independent
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of getting like these vibes. Like Chris Ilitch is looking at us Tigers fans, like the dad and Angels in the outfield. We're like, when can we be a family? And when are you gonna spend some money? And he's like, when the Tigers win the pennant. So hopefully, we get to win the pennant, get there, spend a little bit of bread. Don't just, you don't have an old lady you got to spend it on as much anymore. So hopefully they'll freeze it up for the.
Shit!
Hopefully freeze it up for the Tigers.
Got some spicy answers in here, man.
She might take it all, Chase. Just saying.
That is hilarious. What the chat saying, man?
Hey, look, man, not to be fair to him, we laughed at Chris Ilitch just last year at the start of the season when he said we got enough to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then they made the playoffs. So, hey, but the chat, man, Impeller of Horizons, he says first round out. Weezy 3-on-3, third in the AL Central. Steve DeYoung, just far enough. Yeah, all the way. And I'm seeing a bunch of people who
some mixed answers, man.
Yeah, this is really mixed. Chuck Brewer, outside looking in. Outside looking into what? The playoffs?
That's the best?
Yeah.
Come on.
Whoa, Detroit Arrow, not far enough. Let me see here, man. ALCS, I'm seeing a lot of ALCS, so
okay.
Let me see here.
Y'all just don't appreciate diamonds in the rough. I know Chuck Brewer, you don't.
And I see Stephen Finn with Kool-Aid is such a homer sometimes. Shake my head. Well, duh! I'm not going to be out of towner. I love Detroit. I believe in my squad, man.
If anybody was happy, slappy, good time, it was me this segment. So
and I called it who had the lowest win total prediction this season. Obviously, I keep my ritual of after the first 20 games of the season, we will re-update.
Yeah.
But I would say 30 wins right now.
Yeah.
Hey, but I love my teams.
That is crazy, man. I didn't think we elicited all these type of reactions about the Tigers, but
all over.
If I'm answering this, I'll say AL Central winners. But outside of that, I don't know what the future of this team holds. Yes, pitching wise, you are still very damn good. Maybe arguably the best in the MLB as far as pitching, but I still have concerns about that offense. And if you don't go get Alex Bregman to solidify third base, what the hell is this offense going to look like, especially when they begin to sputter and maybe, get into a hole? I don't want to see what we saw last year where we went through 2.5 months of just miserable baseball because they couldn't score any runs. So
it was tough.
I'll say AL Central winners. You got a shot at the division for sure, but outside of that, I don't know.
Because when Kerry Bonds came back, it was like, where has this been my whole life?
I swear, like water in the desert.
When Riley Green started getting going, it was like, oh my gosh, but it wasn't much around him after that.
All right, we got two more. What are the 3 positions that the Lions need to add during this offseason? So not 3 words, I need 3 positions. What are the 3 positions the Lions need to add during this offseason?
Defensive end, that's Myles Garrett. A wide receiver through the draft. And I want, you know what? Oh, goodness. I was going to say linebacker, but I also want O-line.
Okay.
I'm going to go I want linebacker help. I want something else in linebacker depth.
Just to clarify, this can be in the draft or free agency. It doesn't matter.
Wide receiver, linebacker, defensive end.
Wide receiver, linebacker, defensive end?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say guard, defensive end, corner.
Damn, another corner. All right.
It's tough, though.
Guard, defensive end, corner. I'm not mad at that. JB, 3 positions that the Lions need to add this offseason.
I was going that route as well, too. Give me guard, corner, and obviously edge.
Guard, corner, edge. All right. Chase.
Offensive line. Don't really care what position. Someone in the trenches. Defensive line.
Just
same
don't matter.
thing.
Trench work.
The trenches, yeah. He's
I got you.
Needs some guys in the trenches.
I got you.
And then linebacker. Gotta get some more depth to the linebackers.
All right. I know some people in the chat saying quarterback, so I'm interested to see what the chat got.
Look, Shane Daniel, defensive end, offensive tackle, cornerback, Denver Blair. Everyone's basically in the trenches right now. Xavier D, edge. I'm sorry, that's all caps. Edge.
That's a borderline pause, but borderline pause.
And I screamed it with all
right.
Goodness gracious, don't clip that. Charles McClain, cornerback, defensive end, quarterback 2.
Yeah, I knew a QB was gonna be in there somewhere.
QB 2. Let me see here. G Money 3-3, linebacker, edge, O line. There's a couple more in here, man. Let me see. A-Diz 4-1. Defensive line, linebacker, and offensive line as well. And Jay Ratliff, defensive end, wide receiver, cornerback. I see Stephen David, guard, edge, wide receiver. So it's kind of all over the place, but I believe that the most common thing is we want those trenches built up.
Yeah, I see everybody wants a defensive end, and a lot more wide receivers I'm seeing in there too.
Logically, I was mulling between offensive line or the wide receiver, but I liked like Manu, I liked Mahogany.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we can kind of roll with those guys. We haven't made an investment on the wide receiver core in the draft. So I was like, let's go that route.
Yeah, I would say defensive end. I would say pick up another linebacker, and I will also say I'm stuck between tackle and guard, but I think you can make do at guard. I'm going to say tackle. I think offensive tackle. So defensive end, linebacker, offensive tackle. Those would be my three. But last one. Rank the 3 best Detroit teams in order, with the Lions being off the table.
Say that one more time.
Rank the 3 best Detroit teams right now in order, with the Lions being off the table.
Gotta go Tigers 1 because they made the playoffs last. Pistons have been better more consistently throughout the season, but the Red Wings
it's really gonna be a hang up on the Pistons and Wings. I know
they've been on 2
That's where
separate
the real
heaters
hang
on
up
these
is.
Todd McClellan, like 2 7-game winning streaks. But I'm going to give the that word again, the edge, to the Detroit Pistons because they've been more consistent for the year, and then the Red Wings are just right there. I kind of want to give them a tie. They're both in postseason positioning right now, like from last place to first. But if I had to go that route, Tigers, Pistons, Wings, just behind them.
I'm going to go Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons. The Red Wings have reached highs that the Pistons have not. And they're higher in the standings right now. Give me Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons.
Oh, okay.
I'm the same with Flannel as well, too. Tigers, Wings, Pistons.
Okay. Chase.
I got Red Wings, Pistons, Tigers.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Tigers had a good run, and I'm hopeful and optimistic for next year, but I mean, as opposed to like how I'm feeling right now about these current seasons for the Red Wings and the Pistons, but specifically for the Red Wings are definitely number 1 right now for me.
I'm not mad at that.
I see the chat here. And these are flying in. Shout out to the chat family for being engaged. If you haven't got the opportunity to, go ahead and smash that like button. And a lot of them, from Impaler of Horizons, Chuckle Cheese, Chuck Brewer, Michigander, Shane Dane, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons. That's probably your most consistent when you're getting Detroit Arrow. Tigers, Pistons, Wings, ADIS411. Red Wings, Tigers, Pistons. Let's see here. Eric Minion Sr., Tigers, Pistons, Wings. Brian Edward, he just went Wings, Tigers, Wings. How come the Pistons can't get no love?
You're right.
But I don't think you can go wrong with any one of these things. Xavier D, Red Wings, Tigers, and the Detroit Shock.
Oh, wow. We ain't even got them back yet, but I hear you, though. I hear you. Okay. This one is I'm not mad at Chase's answer. I'm not, because I feel like the Red Wings, they have more talent just across the board than the Tigers and the Pistons combined. But if we going off just what they've done, I guess you got to put the Tigers first. But like Chase said, they got to prove it again this year. You had a magical run last year. Let's see what it looks like this year now that you've actually achieved some success. Tigers, Wings, Pistons. And I don't want to put the Pistons last, but I think the Red Wings just have more talent, like I said, just across the board. So I expect them to be able to make a deep run. I don't know what to expect out of the Pistons just yet, although we all think that they will be a playoff team. So
yeah,
some breaking news too. You guys want to break that?
What up, dog?
Oh, all right, yeah.
I was going to say, I ain't got it. What you got?
Some breaking news.
With Adam Schefter?
Yeah, Adam Schefter.
Break it for us, brother.
Detroit Lions are adding former NFL quarterback Bruce Gradkowski to their staff as the offensive assistant coach, per sources. So, another addition to the coaching staff for the Detroit Lions.
Dan Campbell has, in my opinion, just successfully shifted these coaches around and got the right ones in and really rode the wave of success with these coordinators and I in positional coaches. So I trust his assessment of these things. I was reading the article on what even Steve Spagnuolo was saying about Kelvin Shepherd, which we got to dive into. He's like, he knew that this guy was going to be a coach and just the way he breaks things down. So this is another one of those things where, you know, anybody that Dan Campbell is identifying as a positional coach or a coordinator, I get excited and giddy about, because look how it's already worked out. And we know this. He don't wait long, Flannel, before he goes and plucks them out if it ain't working. I was
going to say, Steve Spagnuolo said that about Kelvin Shepherd?
I got the whole article on my phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does Steve Spagnuolo know about defense?
Yeah. He said he coached him as a player as well with the Giants. So he said, you know, he knew Kelvin Shepherd was that deal. He said people don't understand how easy he breaks things down, how well of a communicator he is, and how great a leader he is. And I was like, we got to really get into, you know, our guy KG over here. Like, I mean, I know we know these things, but maybe the people don't know how good, you know, Lions defensive coordinator KG, a.k.a. Kelvin Shepherd.
Hey, I try, bro. I'm holding down 2 jobs. Got Woodward Sports trying to coach them. Like, shit is not easy, man. It's not easy. But that is Triple Threat for today.
Man, any other things you want to talk about with this one, or do we want to say hello to some friends and then
say hello to some friends?
We'll say hello to some friends. Who you want to say hello to, JB Smooth?
Les Stanford and Mark White.
Hey, new year, new you. How about a new car? Les Stanford Buick GMC is here for you. Get a 2025 Hummer EV SUT for 24 months with 10,000 miles a year. I will never beat those allegations. For only $699 per month, just a $1,999 down payment, or a 2025 GMC Sierra 1500 Crew Cab, 24 months with 10,000 miles a year. For only $359 per month, sign and drive, no down payment required, GM discount required for both. Get to Les Stanford today or click on the QR code on the screen and check out our massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com. Mark White. Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
I got to tell you about that Tangerine Space
Tell
Machine.
me about
the
it.
new easy drinking IPA that is out of this world flavor. It's smooth, it's juicy, with refreshing crushability. Take your taste buds to the moon with this intergalactic haze of goodness. This is the official beer of outer space, but you don't have to go that far to get it. It's at your local store right now, brewed by New Holland Brewing Company, straight out of Holland, Michigan, so you always can support locally. And I don't know if these two pair well together. KG, you might have to tell me, but Soroki's in New Holland?
Confirmed, bro. All the watch parties, I had both.
All right, Soroki's crispy chicken
Sound
and
like
pizza.
lunch today.
I know, it sounded like lunch as well, too. They're still continuing on their signature wings that you can see up on screen right now. 7 different flavors. Grab your friends, order a New York-style pizza, and add on some wings to that order as well, too. And don't fear, if you don't have time to go in-store, you can always order online at Sorokis.com.
Hey, what up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. You know what? People have been smashing that like button. We appreciate you guys. If you haven't gotten the opportunity to, go ahead and smash that like button. Shout out to KG as well. And shout out to Feldman. That kind of took the place of the mailbag today. Feldman Automotive Group presents all of our communication lines, including these segments where you all get very, very involved So shout out to KG with the triple threat today. Brought to you by Feldman. And our question of the day as well brought to you by Feldman Automotive Group. And now we're going to go right into our What's Trending with JB Smooth. So it's time to spark up. Word to Jars, brother. Let's get some rail jam.
Oh,
Now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Here's your hostess with the mostest, JB Smooth.
Yo, what's going on, chat family? Got a couple videos for you guys because we got to get out of here in a minute. We got a lot of stuff to film after this as well, too. But I finally figured out what's been going on at all these massage parlors that Justin Tucker and Deshaun Watson have been at.
Word. Oh, they set my man on fire.
So this is what they've been going to these massage parlors for, the fire sessions.
Jesus Christ.
What is going on?
You guys ever did that in school?
No.
Just took a little hand
No.
sanitizer in your hand. You can light it on fire. It won't burn your hand.
Nah, I'm straight. I'm good on all that. It's just like, I don't understand why people can't just get a normal massage. Like, just the hand on skin, and let's just keep it above board.
Hand on skin.
Yeah, I just keep it above board. But, like, the acupuncture and shit like this, no, I'm good, bro. I don't need needles in me. I don't need to be fucking on fire. Like, I'm
needles in me.
I don't need needles in me.
Yeah, I'm good.
And you don't want to be Justin Tucker, that's for sure.
Not at all.
That's for
If
damn
you're going to get a
sure.
rubbing tug, go to somewhere that specializes in that.
Look
Don't
how
just
it
be
just
springing that on people.
dismantled the whole Patriots team now, man. Kraft got caught up, and the Patriots haven't been the same since, bro.
Yeah, it's true.
Ain't been the same since. I don't think this girl will be the same since this play. And Kool-Aid, tell me if I'm wrong. Is this a foul?
Wait.
Technically, no.
She hits her in the face with the ball.
You got too close. That's not a foul.
Technically, no, it's not a foul, dog. It is what it is.
Yeah. That's a dead ball until it get inbounded. So.
And I'm sorry, like, if that did happen to me and I go down like that, my coach would be like, timeout, get him out the game.
You're right.
Straight up. If that happens to me, he's like, yo, you got to be a pit bull after that. You can't do that. You can't do that, bro. You got to be a pit bull after
I don't think old girl did that intentionally, but yeah, you got too close. You get what you get.
She bopped it. You would have elbowed her back.
Oh yeah, I'm catching her on the flip side though.
I'll tell you what.
I'm gonna get my receipt on that.
That better have been at a critical point of the game when they needed to stop. Because if it's 27-25 midway through the third quarter, what the F are you doing? That's just doing too much.
Yeah, speaking of fouls, that shit Jared Allen did, and I'm normally somebody that likes Jared Allen. That was some hoe ass shit he did last night. I can't front. He damn near hit that man like a football player. So it is what it is.
That's hilarious.
That's terrible. And finally, I will end What's Trending with this because it's time for another edition of KG. Say it with me.
Get your
White
shit
people
off.
shit.
Oh wait, what you
didn't know you was gonna say that one?
I forgot. We got the new segment and shit. All right.
I knew where he was going
All right,
with that.
JB on 3. 1, 2, 3. White people shit.
Cavassier.
Whoa.
Wait. What?
Ah, hell no.
Yep.
Oh.
Man tests his luck by with the moving
saw that
train,
in
going back
unison.
and forth repeatedly under.
All right, bro.
And Unisick, Flannel, and I both said, what? I don't know what I'm seeing. It is WPS, but I'm kind of impressed. Part of me is like, stop playing with the life
How are
like
you
this.
impressed with this?
It's like, what midlife crisis are you going through to be doing shit like this?
My
Like,
man looks like he's having fun, dog.
What are you
I know.
on?
What the heck is going on in this world?
I know it's a little bit different, but I wonder if he was inspired by Breaking Bad with like their train robbery scene or whatever.
maybe. Because this is crazy.
It's almost
man.
like
I wouldn't be
train
surprised
parts.
if there was
nuts.
some meth involved.
Right,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
or
thinking.
he's just like, using the product.
Yep.
It's almost like that parkour, but train style.
Just no matter
That
what,
extreme running.
if you're gonna use that product, just can't have chili pea in it. Inferior product.
Know a little something about that inferior
Signature, bro.
product.
Yo.
I do agree with KG. What are you going through in life that
Chili
you're like,
pea.
you know what? This is what I'm doing with my day.
You either midlife crisis or you bored. Like I'm never this bored with life to where I want to do shit like this. Like that's just craziness right there.
Oh snap! That's so wild.
Unbelievable. But that's it for what's trending, you guys. Back to the text.
Great as always, dog.
Oh, you can cook any meth you want as long as it's that ridiculous chili pea. I fucking love Walter White's like snark. It's so good, man.
Yeah.
You dye your meth blue to make it look like my product.
You're going to a museum.
Say my name. He's so good, bro.
I know what Flannel's watching after the show.
Am I the only one who hasn't seen Breaking Bad?
What?
I haven't finished it. I made it 3 seasons in, and I figured out what the ending was, and I kind of just stayed off it since then.
Yeah, I haven't finished it. I have plans to finish. I have seen it, but yeah, when I found out what the ending was, I was like,
it's
top
kind of
3
like
shows ever made. I'd put it second.
Yeah, it's arguable.
I'd put it first, but I also haven't seen The Wire yet.
No,
so.
it's not better than The Wire.
You'll put it number 2 to The Wire.
Okay.
But it's second.
You
to The
put
Wire.
Breaking Bad over The Wire?
No,
that's a little crazy.
I said it's The Wire, then Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, Breaking Bad over The Wire is crazy. But
yeah, hey.
I haven't seen Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, Boardwalk Empire is good. I'd say Boardwalk Empire is top 10. But yeah, it's not The Wire or even Snowfall for that matter.
Did
I don't
anybody
think it's
like
better than
watch
Snowfall.
Mad Men or like that show?
I
See, that's
couldn't
AMC,
do it.
and you kind of like they're handcuffed by being on like that cable television. So
Yeah.
you gotta
I like
I like
one
the premise of it,
person.
though.
I like one person on Mad Men, and it's not any of the men.
I know who it is.
Yeah, right.
You kind of already know.
Yeah, old girl. Yeah, she's nice. She's nice.
I heard the first season of True Detective is really good.
Really?
What?
Yeah. If JB, you think that might be up your alley if I'm
Oh.
kind of picking up what you're putting down in regards to Mad Men. You know?
Wait, I think I know what scene you're talking about.
Yeah,
I think I do.
Is it Alexandria Daddario?
Daddario,
There you go.
Yep.
Well,
Fine actress.
very blue eyes, beautiful eyes.
Beautiful eyes. Beautiful big eyes. Yes.
2 big eyes, right?
Yep, 2 of them.
Well, yeah, I think everybody.
Shout out to JB Smooth in the eyes booth today.
You're right.
Oh my god.
Look at this chest pass going. I see KG staring at me. We got several meetings we pushed back all week.
Let's get it.
It's time to go. With the chest pass. Y'all saw that? That's that quick release right there, man. And it's on footage, right? What up, though, Beth? What up, though, Lady James, man? They getting work started. They over there clearing out the chair right now so that you can come to Lady James and get that hot towel treatment, that hot lather neck shave. Hey,
Hot towel placement.
hey, varies, right? But ask first. Shout out to our brother Matthew Broder. Shout out to our brother that dude Justin. We got William Baker, Willie B in the building. Cavassier Chase. What up, though, man?
Hey, what up, though? Packed morning, got a lot of other stuff going on today, but 53 minutes away from Big D Energy, Ermanni and Edwards today. Heavyweights wrapping it up, so stay tapped in. You guys know where to hang out and get the best Detroit sports entertainment and coverage in the city. And so look forward to hanging out with you guys in the chat. Shout out my dad. Shout out the guys at Seymour Ford. Look forward to hopefully a victory show tomorrow. Is there any games tonight, actually?
No Pistons game.
Red Wings don't play till Saturday.
Red
I
Wings.
think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully have a fun Friday tomorrow either way.
3 o'clock NBA trade deadline, though.
Yep.
So stay tapped in with Woodward Sports. I know that if any news breaks, you definitely gonna get that news on Big Energy or Armani and Edwards. And then if there's anything that trickles in after that, Heavyweights will definitely make sure that they have that in. I will go live on Woodward Pistons if anything crazy happens. So definitely stay tapped in. Shout out to Salik Booth, Detroit's #1 draft pick, Rookie of the Year, going for MVP. That's KG, aka Black Hollywood.
Yes,
what
sir.
Up, though?
Hey, much love to everybody joining us today. Much love to my team, man. Love y'all. Can't wait to do this Friday show tomorrow. And yeah, let's keep this shit rolling, man. We get a day to relax, but go Pistons. Let's make some noise, man. I'm interested to see what Trajan gonna do.
Hey, let's ride in the TD booth. Hey, you know what? Let's skip it, man. We talking about Mad Men and all that. And the TD booth is JB Smooth, Woodward Sports MVP. What up, though?
Hey, shout out to everyone in the chat for tapping in with us. Once again, another great show. Shout out to Adam Silver as well, too, for making this NBA trade deadline more important and exciting than Super Bowl week that you got going on at Radio Row down there.
Draft year after year after year. At least we got Cade, though. Shout out to Flannel Sam, vet of the squad, vet of the network. You know what? Red Wings correspondent, all sports knower, ball knower when it comes to football. What up, though, brother?
Hey. Probably, well, I shouldn't say that. hopefully the Pistons make some noise, and I was going to say a quiet sports night in Detroit, but it could be the very opposite of that if some fireworks go off.
And if they don't, it's still, people are already, man. Look at the comments in our social media posts. People are mad right now with this trade deadline.
Yeah, just remember where you were last year. That I'm not mad at you for being a little bit upset for seeing Cade's heroics get wasted with losses, but remember where we were. Remember how far we've come already.
Hey, Phil, I love you, bro. He says, woo, good show. That means a lot from Phil.
I know, right?
I'm serious.
I take everything he says with a grain of salt.
Nah, Phil been cool today, man. Shout out to Phil. Yes, you are welcome on this show, man. You always.
Hey, you know what,
Phil.
And I see you, Tabitha. She says, WUW Crew rules, and the rest of you guys, thank you for the love. Seriously, smash that like button, share the stream, leave some comments. Show a Brandon, A.K. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Have a day, y'all. It's been Wake Up Woodward.